I used to, not anymore. And the reason is, if you ever read my tweets, they signed VT.
Yeah.
That ain't me. I work for VT. I'm not VT.
Yeah.
VT goes to work. He has a mandate, things he's got to deliver and do.
Yeah.
And I work for him. And when I show up for work, I do that. Let me put it to you another way. So, I invest in like different companies. I'm
Sure.
CEO of a venture firm, right? And the other day I was having this conversation with my rabbi and I said to him, this is interesting. When we are looking for people to hire, we say we have a role.
Yes.
Isn't that what Hollywood calls actors?
100%.
In other words, when I hire Penuel, I need him to play a role. I'm not asking him to be himself.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So for me, that conflict was divorced when I realized that actually every single day, all of us are playing a role. If we're a taxi driver, you play a role.
It's a fact.
There are things you have to do to survive as a taxi driver. If you're a cashier at a Pick and Pay, or you are an administrator at a Home Affairs office, you play a role.
Yeah.
There are things you have to do to be effective at that. And so in my mind, I kind of went, these are just the things I have to do to be effective at this. I happen to be good at doing those things. Doing those things is not who I am. It's something I'm doing. And once I was able to divorce those two things, oh man, it was all chilled. Until then, it was huge conflict. I will tell you this because you'll understand it. It was huge conflict because I didn't understand why I was hated by people I admired.
Sure.
I was like, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah.
Like, I love my people. I love my people.
Yeah.
Why would I be hated by the people I admire? Why would I be hated by people I want to spend time with? There are videos of mine that circulate on social media. People don't believe when I tell them. Mina ngiyagibela V12 chief, whichever one that's in the garage at the time. Ngishaya Kia and go look for his sport is a god. It's my thing.
Sure.
My kids will tell you, like, Dad, don't mess with him. Nekota kababa.
Sure.
Right? I'm like, y'all do sushi? I mean, I go on Mr. Ding Tengi Koda. I'm that guy.
Sure.
And if they deliver it and it's got that lettuce, we're going to have a problem. There should be no lettuce.
Sure.
Gukota. Do you understand? Like, keep lettuce the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Ingena api lettuce gukota. That's me. So I know who I am. I know where I come from. I love that. And I'm plugged into that. And then I didn't understand when or how. For whatever reason, the people who, in the main, not completely, but some of the people in that space didn't identify with me anymore.
Yeah.
That was a tough, rough couple of years, man. Isn't it, we agree that you can be a bookkeeper and a chartered accountant? Both are in the same discipline, but there are different levels of proficiency.
Yeah.
Right. But to acquire those levels of proficiency, there's certain things they have to do to prove themselves capable of working at that level. Right. What do I do? I'm a global speaker. What does that mean? That means in a week from now, I'll be in Tokyo. A week after that, in Kuala Lumpur. A week after that, in Brazil. And everywhere I go, I am completely relatable.
Yeah.
So what South Africans say, he doesn't sound South African. No, because I'm a globalist.
Yeah.
I sound how I need to and have been trained to. This is important. You don't wake up talking like this.
Yeah.
I was trained to. This is why I'm the highest paid speaker in the continent. It's because when I land in Nigeria, I hit. When I land in Mombasa, I hit. When I land in Beijing, I hit. When I land in Los Angeles, I share the stages with the biggest guys you guys follow on Twitter and on social media. And every time I get off, they go, God damn, who's that guy?
That's you flexing, boy, but we feel it.
But the point is, it's because I take what I do seriously.
Yeah.
And if the choice is to choose between remaining who I was in the small confines of this environment and becoming who I have become in the broader context of the global environment, for me, that's not a choice you want to make me to make because you're not going to like the decision that I'm going to take.
Sure.
So that's how I think of it. It's like, and by the way, I'm completely easy, right? This is why there are some people who I'm sure you've heard this criticism a lot. And people go, how well you speak English is not an indication of your intelligence.
Sure.
Yeah, who said it was? Because I didn't.
Yeah.
And I think those who say that are flaring up their own inadequacies.
Of course.
None of us, certainly in my experience, who spoke English in a particular way said, well, if you can't speak it this way, you're therefore less intelligent.
Sure.
My feeling is, and I don't want to be insensitive, but I think it's true, that those who were unable to speak English at a particular level of proficiency inferred of themselves to be less intelligent.
True.
But only you can make you feel that way.
It's
Because
not me.
it's not me. It's not me. It's certainly nothing I've done. Mina mawufuna sihlale sixoxe isiZulu bafo. Ayikho inkinga naloko singakwenza. Ngakhuliswa ekhaya mina kuthiwa whatever language you speak it properly.
Yeah.
Kungakho kunabantu who will listen to me speak isiZulu and then they have it's like the matrix glitch.
Sure.
Okay.
What's happening
Ooh,
now?
yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just because when I'm in the context, I understand the role. And when I'm in the context, I know what I need to do to be effective in that environment. I want to say something very quickly. It's not selling out.
Because actually going to be my next question.
Let me tell you why it's not selling out.
Sure.
Because if it was selling out, then you would be going to work today.
Yes.
Right. So we can't choose the rate of our connectivity to our ethnicity as we've defined it. Ukugqoka kwami ibheshu does not make me an African. Nokukhuluma kwami isiZulu does not make me an African. So we must then define, when we say Penuel is an African, what is it that we mean? Because I can hate black people and speak the most fluent isiZulu. I can hate isintu.
Yes.
Kodwa ngisazi.
Ugqoka nebheshu.
Ngigqoka nebheshu njalo. Uyabona? By the way, I actually think this is perhaps what I call it the Vusi fault line. Like I always feel like I fit into this fault line of grayness.
Sure.
Right. You, by the way, are walking very fast into that fault line. So let me forewarn you. But I think that fault line is that South Africa doesn't have a template for us.
Yes.
So it's still trying to figure us out.
The whole continent.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
That's a true story, right? You know, we have a business in Nigeria. I spend a lot of time there. And I notice how a lot of the Nigerians who are what you and I are here don't live there.
True.
They don't. You'll find them in London. You'll find them in Dubai. You know, that's where you'll find them. You'll find them in the US. And I think the reason for that is similar to SA. There's no template yet for this guy who can be African and asazi isintu sakhe.
Sure.
But at the same time harbor a set of views and engage critically in thought and come out with an outcome that we would not have naturally come out at. That's why they will say you're a sellout. It has to be the only way to explain it. So yeah, I mean that's how I think of it, you know. So let's discuss them, and to the extent to which I'm not, I'll let you know.
Okay.
So yes, I understand the scam artist thing.
Do you understand it? Do you understand the psychology of average people? I'm a motivational speaker. Yes, they always lie to us.
Yes.
A grain of rice. I started with a grain of rice. Today I own testing.
I started with a teaspoon. Now I have a restaurant.
So Vusi are going to make us sell our parents.
Yeah, look, I do understand it. So first, you know, at the beginning of this, to arc back to where we started, I spoke about public speaking and the technical nature of the craft, right? So I didn't define myself as a motivational speaker.
Sure.
Y'all did.
Okay.
I'm a public speaker. But because of how the world understands things, right? Any poet who rhymes over a beat is now called a hip-hop artist.
Boom.
That's it. And so let me tell you, when you call a Vusi Thembekwayo, what you've done. You take a poet who rhymes over a beat, you call him a hip-hop artist, and then say he must therefore be a thug, a gangster, and a murderer.
Boom.
And you create that trail of logic with 1 second of thought.
Yeah.
Right? I'm fascinated when people say I'm a scammer, because for you to say that, first, you would need not know who I am and how long I've been around. Right?
Yeah.
Just call around, man. It's like don't be lazy. Pick up your phone and phone around and ask about me.
Sure.
Right? So that's the first comment. The second comment is, it's curious to me how people who have the least to be scammed from want to make the most noise about being scammed.
You're like, you've never even given me 2 cents.
So, mawuthi Vusi uskemile. Konje namalini engizoyithatha. And angikudeleli ngiyabuza.
Sure.
Right. And the sub-question there is actually this. This is the real question. if you see the scam artist, just show me the scam.
Facts.
Because I haven't seen the scam yet.
Yeah.
And if it is, I'm trying to see who's running it. People watch my masterclasses that I did online and go, see, he's scamming people. Those were free. I took my time that I could have been spending at home with my 3 beautiful kids.
Yeah.
And I came and spent it in a room with young entrepreneurs who were asking questions where I felt I could help. Isono Samis, Penuel, was that I invited guys with cameras and I said, record it so that we can show it to others. So if they have the same questions, they can see the answers.
Yeah.
That was it. And all of a sudden people went, who does he think he is anyway? And as those people went, why is he even hosting a masterclass? He's not the wealthiest South African. I never said I was. He's not the wealthiest black. I didn't say that either. He doesn't employ the most black people. I didn't say that I did. But why don't you get the wealthiest black to host the masterclass?
Orcs.
Yeah, don't come to me and tell me about the guy you bumped into at Konka driving the latest Ferrari SF90 and he should be hosting a masterclass. Ask him to host it. Do you know why he won't host it? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because within 30 minutes of that, you would realize he's all flow and no substance.
Jeez.
You would realize he's all connection and no content. You would realize that if it wasn't for the people he can dial on that tablet that he uses as a phone.
Why are you speaking about a specific person?
Right. That guy wouldn't have that wealth.
Yeah.
That's what you'd realize. The only reason you don't like me is because I've taken the little I have, opened it up and said, hey, yo, that's it. If you want to learn how valuation works today, go YouTube, Vusi Thembekwayo valuation. There's a full video on it. That's it. The Jews, in the Yiddish language, there's this word, fargin. It's a beautiful word. And when I started spending time in the community, you go to the shul, you're at Shabbat, be like, there's this abantu abamnyama sibiza ubuntu.
Yes.
They come at it differently, but this word fargin, and here's what it means. It means that if we are in a community and you're doing something, even if somebody outside the community can do it better, cheaper, and faster, we buy from you. And when you get it wrong, we come to you. Say, you got this wrong, fix it. Then we buy again.
That's us.
It's called fargin. Go and look it up.
The
reason that's important is because now you got to understand our psychology. So what do? You start something and you sell. We buy it. Then we go on social media and go, futhi phukile lento ayisebenzi nokusebenza.
Sure.
Bekacabanga ukuthi wenzani. Futhi nalamateki wakhe mana amosheka fast.
Yeah.
Futhi nalokudla kwakhe akusimnandi and kuyadura unnecessary. Then we're the same people that go, but why is black wealth not growing?
Sure.
Right. I think I did this masterclass, and I know you want to say something, so let me just finish this thought
cool.
It's like I said, I had a masterclass, I'll never forget. It was in Cape Town, and I said something, and the whole thing blew up and became, flammable, like almost most things Vusi says.
Take it easy.
And I said in this masterclass, I said, apartheid didn't lose. Apartheid won.
Yeah.
Apartheid didn't lose. Not only did it win, it's still winning. The project of apartheid was not only about the exploitation of the many for the few. It wasn't just about making black people believe they were inferior. The more insidious project in apartheid, its most successful outcome, and I use the word successful for a lack of a better one, so don't get touched with that, is that apartheid was there to convince black people that none amongst them was worth anything. Kungako today, isitha somuntu omnyama, umuntu omnyama, umuntu ozodiliza inkampani yomuntu omnyama, umuntu omnyama, umuntu ozokuframe, umuntu omnyama, umuntu ozokufaka ejele ngenzondo, umuntu omnyama, umuntu ozokubamba ngenhliziyo athi sobona ukuthi uyophelela laphi.
Sure.
Ngumuntu omnyama. To this day. And so almost all of the wealthy black friends I know, they'll call me and go, what are you doing? Leave these people alone. A friend of mine said something the other day. Why do you think we leave the township?
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't want to drive in and drive out every day. Ngiloko ngiyamonelwa, ngibizwa ngamagama, ngizothakathwa, ngizoyenza zonke lezo zinto.
Yeah.
And so indawo zakithi aziphucuki because sihamba siyophucuka somewhere else, right? But ekhaya, it's the way it is. And so my fascination is with groups and communities that have suffered, and then when they bounce, it's unbelievable. Because I think if as black people we could learn that, we would be unstoppable. The apartheid project was about that in South Africa. The colonization project was about that in the rest of Africa.
Sure.
Right? The reason there's an issue between a Kikuyu and this in Kenya, the colonizers told them that shit.
Yeah.
And so when the colonizer removes himself, right, the one tribe says to the other, no, but it can't be you.
Sure.
It must be me. It's our inability to practice fargin, to go, yazin man, uPen has started a company making cars. Hey, azambizon. Hey, it's a slow man. Namagerai tu, clash ya puga, yabon, agana ne set nerve. But tell the Department of Home Affairs to place an order for 100,000 of those cars. Because that's first iteration.
Yeah.
We don't do that. And then we wonder why certain populations move forward, why certain countries move forward. If you had the privilege, I did, 15 years ago was the first time I traveled to China. You cannot compare the automotive prowess of China then to today.
Sure.
But that's because the Chinese government backed Chinese founders building companies in the automotive sector, as they have done in technology with Huawei and several others. And so we think the reason you're using a Xiaomi or a Huawei is just because the Chinese are amazing. No, it's in large part because they practice fargin.
Yeah.
Imali yabo circulates ngabo gubo. And they don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be teachable.
And take constructive criticism. So they don't destroy. When you take initiative, they don't destroy. They don't destroy. They do not destroy.